Alright, so let me open up. I am going to send it to my folder, and I have some. I have a legitimate copy of Windows 1 right here. So my legitimate disk images right here, and sync to one of these files, okay? But now I don't want a disk swap. Disk swapping is even more pain with the virtual machine than actual hardware. So I'm going to CD disks. I'm going to make some disk images. So DD is a little bit complicated. I'm not going to explain it in super detail. But IF equals info, it means info file slash dev slash 0. That just puts a bunch of null bytes, 0 bytes, just, and if equals w for Windows 1 disk 1.img, that means it's a disk image, and now it's bs 1024, that's 1 kilobyte. 1024 bytes is equal to 1 kilobyte. Then we have count, it's 1440 because it's 1440 kilobytes. 1.44 megabytes. Yeah, disk drive sizing is inconsistent. That's fine. So now, w1d1.img, it should be here somewhere. Here it is. So now, I go over here, click on hardware. So, well, I put it to no floppy before. I think I must have just forgot to update it. So, choose this one. Now this is going to update it. Now it's just going to boot up. It's going to be the same because it's the MS-DOS that I installed earlier. So, before I forget, remember setver, setver win.com 3.30 is recommended for Windows 1. If you don't do that, it might fail. It might work, it might fail. For Windows 2, it's 4.00. But version table, and then you need to restart the computer. Apparently setting Control Alt Delete doesn't work for this. So I'm just gonna do hard restart. So let's set ver. Let's see what it comes up with. See right here? That means it's set the version of DOS when it's running Windows. When it's running Win.com, that's the Windows program. It pretends to be MS-DOS 3.30. That's the version that's recommended. For Windows 2, it's 4.00, but I'm installing Windows 1. Okay, so now format A, because that's completely blank. It isn't even formatted. So insert new diskette. I already did. Line label 1 W Windows 1 disk 1. Format another? No, because you need to disk swap to format another. So we're good. This is a blank disk pretty much. Let me, one moment. Open this in a new window. And it's cause new tab, new window I meant to do. So I don't know why it keeps doing this. This is annoying, okay? But here's 2. Windows 2. We need a completely legitimate copy. Ignore this. Legitimate copy of Windows 2. We need that for mouse driver, because this emulates a PS2 mouse, and Windows 1 does not quite have PS2 support. So these are all 360 kilobytes, I think. So let's open up setup. I think this one. So where is this? This mouse driver. This is for a serial mouse. This is a serial mouse.
You hit
See?
traffic, and it lets you know
See?
that it's a lot of traffic up ahead,
This is a
right? How
serial
you think it knows that?
mouse. It goes. This could be
Because of
plugged
what?
into anything, obviously. It's
Because
just
of the
shut
what?
off.
You
This
out
is
in the
plugged into
country,
serial
right?
port right here.
And it shows
Now,
you
if you have
an
two
accident ahead. You ever
serial
look at
ports,
GPS and you see a
and you
red
plug into
phone?
this one and it doesn't work,
That's letting you know
you
that
might
the
need to plug it
traffic is
into this
heavy.
one because
Well, think about
because it
how
might
it
only
knows
work on the
that.
first one, but still.
It's the analytics a lot of times from people's phones.
But we need to replace it with the one from this is Windows 2. It's a setup disk. We need to replace it with this one, which is a PS2 mouse. So without further ado, I'm going to copy the setup files, and this represents, if you're doing it on hardware, a 3.5-inch 1.44 megabyte floppy disk. So we're going to copy it from the setup image. You could open the image if you're on a Mac, you just double click it, it opens over here. But if you're on Windows, you can open it with 7-zip, probably some other stuff too. So we're going to replace. We're going to drag this over here, and it says if you want to replace it, yes, replace it. And then so now we have the mouse driver. Let's eject it. We don't need completely legitimate copy of Windows 2. We don't need the setup disk open yet. So now open up the second disk, which is build. Got kind of corrupt last time, or tried this before, it got a little bit corrupt. So now we just copy that, and it should just work. And now, so it should be able to fit 4 on 1.44 megabyte disk. Here's the third one. Oh, it says you're out of space. So I hope that that doesn't mean it's corrupt, because if it does, that's no good. Still have 3 more disks, so maybe it's corrupt. Hope not. Let's do this again. Except for with the disk 2. Okay, so now go over here, hardware. I'm gonna start it with having the second disk, so I can format it. So let's update that, and then so format A, and enter W1D2. Don't format it anymore, and now we just shut this off. I think there is a way to format it from the terminal, but it's easier to just open it up in the virtual machine, especially since I have the virtual machine, so it's not too much trouble. So I'm going to copy the utility disk over the second disk. Okay. That's the third disk here, so I would have here. Oh, yeah, here are all the programs. Let's drop them here. And then, last but not least, we have Windows Write. That's the predecessor to WordPad. Here are 2 example documents for Write. They're readme.doc already exists. Let's just replace it. That might be different, but that's fine. Let's get rid of that, and let's also eject this because you don't want to have them at the same time. So to start the setup, we obviously want to start with the first disk, V1D1. Don't want to swap that much because it is kind of a pain. So now we have this. So we're going to say A, pointed towards A, setup. So, yep. C/Windows, that's where I want it. Yep. So we have, again, I replaced this Microsoft Mouse Bus serial with the PS2 driver from Windows 2, so it should work. And then this is the one you want, EGA more than 64K. That's the latest, which is also happens to be the closest to modern graphics cards. So we do that. So we insert the build disk. That's the second one, but that's also on the first. It's the second disk, but it's on. But I copied all the files from that disk onto this first disk. Now the utilities disk, we're gonna, if you remember how I said, I'm just gonna show you it now. Change floppy 0. So I think this only works the full path. So 1d2.img. Then we go back to shift 1. We press continue. Retry. Okay. Is it? Let's see. Build utilities. Yeah, I think it should be. Let's try that again. W1D2. Yeah, it should be. Might have to try that again. Retry. Yeah. I have to redo this. So. It might have just gotten corrupted because I forgot to eject it. I'm just gonna reblank it and then reformat it. It's a lot of work to edit the DOS video, so I might not edit this at all. So yeah, and now I can format that disk and be a little more careful. So format A, just enter W1D2, don't format anymore, shut down, turn off. Now to copy the 3 disks. So we have the utility disk. So I got all the files here. Copy them over here. The first 2 disks worked fine, so I guess I just have to redo this one. So always a problem trying to do this for some reason. This is the programs. Let's put these files over here. So it'll be this disk too. And I'm curious, what is the readme.doc? Is there a readme.doc here already? Oh, apparently. Let's not open it with Microsoft Word because it's not a Microsoft Word file. Now let's see what's this one. Open this also with. Oh, they're exactly the same. Okay. Guess that. I was just curious. So yeah, replace it. They're exactly the same. It's not that much trouble. Let's eject this one for sure. Eject this one. So set this back to have the first disk so we can start installing. W1D1 open. Update PC. Now let me start the installation. Continue. /Windows. Continue. Again, like what I did before. 6. Continue. Now the utilities disk is on. Yep. So it's on. Oh, it's this one. So change floppy 0 users Justin desktop. I might have just forgotten a part of the path, and that was what caused the problem. It's possible. No, I don't want to set up a printer. I don't have a printer. Probably wouldn't be good to set up a printer with Windows 1 anyways. Yeah. So those were all in there. So, without further ado, okay. Doesn't really work either. It's not working at all. The heck? Keyboard isn't even working. Oh, now it is. I don't know. Well, now it's sort of working. So, if you ever install Windows 1, don't forget to try Reversi. Yeah, might just not be working. Yeah. And that occasionally happens too. It happened like once or twice. Let's try Win Reversi. Okay. Run. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's just not really working. Okay, now it's frozen. Keep in mind this Mac actually is pretty fast. And it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I'm having this errors. I'm just done with this. I think I'm just gonna add some of the when I did it the time before. Oh, for crying out loud. Oh, this works. Yeah, it didn't quite work. But you get to do Reversi, so that's fun. Let's see. But now I got this. I'm probably gonna lose because I always lose at Reversi for some probably not very good reason. Probably I'm just bad at it. Probably just bad at Reversi, which is a little odd, but not super odd. Ah, shoot, I didn't get the corner.
What? You're playing Minesweeper.
This is not Minesweeper, Maxie.
What is that?
It's Reversi.
What are you trying to do? You're trying to sweep over mine.
No, this is not Minesweeper, Claire.
No, isn't it Play for Days? Look.
Tires for Days. I'm gonna lose it.
You're hunting all the reds.
See, I am supposed to make there be more red, but I'm actually making it be less red. Because I'm really bad at this. Oh, I almost passed.
You're super.
Oh, I can go right here then. I lost by 28. Yeah, losing that. Yeah, that's enough of this.
Bow.
So, I'm just gonna show Reversi from when I installed it before. This just isn't working. I hope Macintosh men, these guys, have better luck when they install it. And I mean, it's worked for me before. It just didn't work this time. So I mean, I don't know what it is. I did everything right. Didn't work. Probably maybe something got corrupted for no reason. I don't know. Maybe my download was corrupted. I don't know. I mean, my totally legitimate copy got corrupted for no reason. Yeah. Okay, because because it didn't really work to do Windows 1, I'm just gonna go pcjs.org, which is an emulator. Oh, I misspelled that. PCJS. There we go. And now PCX86. Well, let me go back to the main page. Alright, should be right here. Yep. This is just to demonstrate a little more of Windows 1.01. Oh, that means press escape. What was there? It meant PCJS.org has control of the cursor. Press escape to make it give it back. Okay, so let me open up the clock, for example. Now, this is a resize thing. If you click here, you have to hold down the click. You can iconize, which moves it down here. This emulator is 4.77 megahertz. So this is like the original IBM PC. This here, that's MS-DOS, but you cannot overlap windows in Windows 1. Windows 2 you can, but you can put them side by side. You can put them, you can tile them like this. So if I do that, that moves them side by side. So here we have the clock. And if I want to open the notepad, let's see. When you open a new program, it'll send the MS-DOS prompt down there. So I'm just going to put this up here. Oh, that just replaced it. So that do it? Well, alright. It gets really slow because actually I think you can turboize this. 9.54 megahertz, 19.08. Of course, the clocking is not working great because everything is sped up. What else? The clock. Actually, I guess I need to go back down. Okay, now I'm back to. Yeah, I can do double speed, I think. Again, like I said before, you double click over in this thing. It turns into a minus in Windows 2 and 3. Actually, connects on Notepad too. Let's see. Calculator? Calculator works. It's a little weird. Let's see, we can put this on this side. Now, we have File Manager versus the MS-DOS Executive, and then we have the calculator. 9 times 9, 81. And, see, right? It's like WordPad. The file format is different. This one uses the extension doc. Windows 2 uses WR. Windows 2 and 3 use WRI. Notepad can open WRI files. I don't think Notepad can do the .docs that the Windows 1 writes files though, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Oh, we can go to the. Let's see. Oh. So this one they're booting from a floppy disk. Let's run command.com. That's the command prompt. And so actually let me get rid of. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna drop this here. And let's get rid of the calculator. Because honestly, don't need it. But this is running on DOS 2.00. The thing about this, you can actually, the terminal, it can be used as a terminal like for over serial port, or it can be used in this command, or it can be used to run DOS programs in. A little bit like the MS-DOS prompt or command prompt. It's slow. This is so slow. /p, remember that? From the DOS video. Let's see. Let's see. Doesn't really work apparently. Command.com MC format. Check this. Just grab a disk jump. That's how you can make a system disk. And I think that's about it for this video. Okay. Oh, you need to exit out of the DOS program. So, actually, if you try to exit out of Windows by, let's say like this, but application is still active, so it won't let you exit. So if you're running a program that only lets you exit by turning off the computer, that's not great. Now exited it. Now we can close that. I already played Reversey, so I don't need to do that. Calculator, calendar. These are pretty. All of these are pretty much the same as the Windows 2's versions. Windows 2 versions of them, honestly. And you're back at. Oh, see, it doesn't show the file. It doesn't show the directory. Yeah. So that's how that is. Great, Macintosh Men is a good channel.
Just circle that part.
Well, this is Windows 98, which I installed in like 2018, 2019, maybe even 2017. I don't quite remember. I'm gonna open up the terminal. This is actually from Windows 2. It's been converted to run on newer versions of Windows. Online, here it is. Terminal. It's actually a TRM terminal settings file. Oh, shoot. Gotta do that first. So, this here is a adapter, a console adapter for a network switch. I have it back here, connected to. Where is it? It's connected to the console port of that switch. So, to move this, so I'm gonna move this computer so that the cable can reach. Arrgh. Oh, man. It can only reach like this far, so I need to shift this over some, so you can shifting the computer some, so you can actually. Okay, so now I can actually plug this in. There we go. So now it's actually plugged into the serial. So now I can actually connect. So the terminal connects, allows you to connect to things over the serial port, like other computers, and basically lets it use it like a hardware terminal. So the terminal settings files is .trm. So this here is a TRM file. So do you wish to connect? Yes. So to connect, enter. You see? It's on the. So for example, these commands are running on that switch. The font is a little bit messed up. If you can see, the font is a little bit messed up because this is Windows 98, not Windows 2. But it's still working.
But look,
See?
it's funny. She got the same thing.
It's working. So that's how the terminal works. The included apps are pretty much the same under Windows 1 and Windows 2. So this would be pretty much the same if for the Windows 1 terminal. But Windows 1 apps start like this under newer versions of Windows, whereas Windows 2 start reasonable sized, right?
I know what you're trying to do. You saw I'm having the same
See,
problem.
about terminal. See,
got it right earlier the other day.
version 2.03.
If you have trouble getting them a 5.
So, just for a moment, I'm just going to show you how the open dialogues are on these old versions. Sort of like, because I'm just looking at the screen.
Yeah,
So,
like that. Stop right there. Boom.
yeah.
Is that correct? Incorrect. Sound. It ends in a consonant, but it's a vowel sound at the end.
This is actually a Windows 3 program, but they work sort of. Let's show you how you open. So most Windows 1, 2, or 3 programs, they have files and directories instead of, and the files include your drives too. They open like this instead of opening. Let's just show how a newer program would open. So let's try Notepad. So a newer program, the open dialog looks like this, where it's just like folders, and if you find, it has folders and files. So If you show all files, see, it shows files rather than files and directories. It's sort of, so that's how old, that's how opening it. Also, this is for, has the same version number as Windows. It's the very first release of Windows, but this is actually a Windows 3 program. I don't know why it says